How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
How things in Yerushalayim? Good. Very nice. Very nice. So, yeah, so let me tell you what I understand about the matter, and then tell me what you understand, and let's see if together we can get a better understanding. So, it's true that many of the laws that Moshe Rabbeinu gave us, meaning many of the perushim that he gave us, the Hachamim brought the Rashot to show how the Perush of Moshe was implied in the Pasuk. So the Lashon of Harambam and the Akdamat to Perush Mishnayot is, I don't remember, like to show the Orma of the Pasuk or to show the Chokhmah of the Pasuk. I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry? Right, yeah. So, so that is correct, meaning just because you have a derasha doesn't mean that it's not from Moshe Rabbeinu. But when you have a statement like this, which doesn't have it, so there's a lot of words in the Gemara where it's a code word to tell you this is not the peshat of the pasuk or this is a derasha. And what struck me in this case was there was no menaim, there was no melamed. It was just this is the pasuk. Here's what it means. To me, and then he says devar Torah. Why add devar Torah? Meaning this is devar Torah. So to me, that would suggest that this is one of those cases where we have a perush that we got from Moshe Rabbeinu. That's how I understood it. But I'm open to an alternative explanation if you have one.
So I haven't studied the sugya specifically of ketubot that you cited, but what struck me first of all is that the person citing this limud is a single hacham of ula. It's not a statement made either a stam baraita or a mishnah, and it's not an anonymous statement made by the Talmud, rather a single hacham, which leads me to think that a hidush needs to be had here in the name of ula. Otherwise, why is it only he that is making the statement? Do the other hachamim not know this? It was not known until him. Those are the reasons that led me to think a little bit otherwise. That's one. Two, and this is to support your point, is that any place that we have any mood can be either the Rabbanon or the Oraita, as you said. And Rambam says that the way to differentiate between the two is if they attach to it Guf Torah or the Oraita or something like this. And Devar Torah, like you say, he says this in the Kelal Sheni, the Sefer Mitzvot. And so that is a point in your favor. Yeah.
Right. Your question about Amar Ullah, I believe, is addressed in Igeret Cherira Gaon. I don't remember where, but I think he does say that there are cases where you would have an Emorah making a statement, and just because he made the statement doesn't mean that he's the originator of the statement, but rather oftentimes he is the transmitter of the statement. And if there is no machloket, as in this case, there is no machloket, then the fact that an Emorah said something doesn't automatically mean that this is a latter thing. He brings something interesting. He brings, and it's not exactly on point, admittedly, but he brings Havayot Avaye Verava, that, Rabban Yochanan Zakkai, he was Baki and Leleshon Shedim and in all the various Chokhmot, and then he sings Havayot Avaye Verava. So he says, how can Rabban Yochanan Zakkai have been Baki in the Havayot Avaye Verava? It doesn't, right? And he says that these Havayot Avaye Verava were of an ancient origin. It's true that Avaye Verava are bringing this particular machlok, but that particular issue or doubt was well before Avaye Verava. So I do understand that just because an Emorah says something, and especially here where he doesn't say Amar Ullah, Amar, Rabbi Yochanan or something, but rather it's his statement. So therefore, that would suggest that this is, at least to my understanding, that this is a statement that is what do you call it? undisputed, but undisputed because it's just an accepted statement. So we just received it from Ula, or Ula is the one who brings it for some reason. Why, I don't know. In other words, why is it that Ula is the one who gets the credit in any Odea? I admit.
Okay. So there's two things that I'd like to bring up. The first is you mentioned that there are certain code terms that point to the fact that these are derashot that are being made and not Kabbalah. And the second thing that you said is that the fact that there is no midah of the Shoshes Midot. And so, first of all, the word minayin and tilmud lomar, to me, those indicate rabbinic rhetoric in my mind. They can also indicate derashot, but unless you know otherwise, and I'd be happy to learn from you. I see in many places. Currently I'm studying Horayot, so that's something that I have in my mind. Right, so simple perushim of pesukim, something like right? And then they say, יכול מצוות עשה, תלמוד לומר אשר לא תעשנה, right? Which is a simple perush. You would have known that even without this tilmud lomar, that it's only referring to mitzvot lo ta'aseh and not to mitzvot aseh. And that seems to me to be a perush mekubal to Moshe, that no one ever raised the possibility that you bring a korban hatat al mitzvot aseh. So that's why the words tilmud lomar indicate, or minayin indicate to me Talmudic rhetoric. The second point that I brought up with regards to shene'emar, which indicates only an indication or a remez and not a derasha. There's no midah, and so another topic that I did study that I sent in the WhatsApp was with regard to the Kedesha, right? So there you have לא תהיה קדשה מבנות ישראל, and the Midrash says, אזהרה למופנה, שנאמר לא הייתה בזה קדשה, meaning it cites the pasuk in Bereshit with regard to Yehuda and Tamar as a re'aya for the fact that the Kedesha means a zonah, in the way that in Yehuda and Tamar it is understood. And this, when I studied this, seemed to me to be a complete derasha, a new derasha, a din mufla. And the reason I understood this is because Onkelos understands lo tiyeh kedesha mibenot Yisrael to refer to a bat horin to an eved, and a ben horin and a kadesh as a ben horin to a shifha. Maybe this is the way to understand this, is that it may be a Kabbalah, but not a Kabbalah that goes back to Moshe, right? It could be the fact that there's no derasha means that these Hachamim who say this Midrash, Shene'emar lo hayta bezeh kedesha, perhaps they are not the ones doing the derasha right now, but they have a Kabbalah that goes back a few generations, enough that Onkelos Ager didn't know of this derasha, of this Kabbalah, right? Or knew of some other perush. And that's without one of the Shosh Esrei Midot. In the exact same Shene'emar that appears here. And that's why those two issues jumped out at me.
Right. I would add, however, just one thing. In the case of the Misvat Aseh versus Misvat Lo Ta'aseh for the Korban that you mentioned, what do you call it? It's a little different than our Pasuk. Well, why is it different? here it says, "V'chohen ki yikne nefesh kinyan nafsho, kinyan kaspo." I'm sorry, ki yikne nefesh kinyan kaspo. It's really not the peshat of the pasuk, right? Nefesh kinyan kaspo. The peshat is not arusa. So the fact that they just brought it as a peshat is a little different than bringing a pasuk which talks about achat mikol mitzvot Hashem asher lo te'asena, where it's explicit in the pasuk, right? So I wouldn't have brought that as a re'ayah, because there I kind of understand your point. Here, how can you bring this pasuk and says devar Torah? This is an arusa. That's why I said, this is interesting. This must be a perush from Moshe Rabbeinu. Again, I'm not, I'm willing to, accept an alternative explanation, but that's the sense I get. Precisely because it's not the peshat of the pasuk. If it was a peshat, I would say, yeah, you're right. Maybe this is just right, but it's not.
The other thing is that the word deoraita can also appear in a context that does not mean a Kabbalah.
Absolutely.
And that happens all over.
But here it says Devar Torah.
So that I don't know. We'd have to do a Google search of all the cases of Devar Torah in the Talmud and see
Okay,
what's the difference.
We started a conversation. That's good. The real question for me is, why does it say Amar Ullah? Why doesn't it bring it as a Tanura Bana? But again, usually Tanura Bana is a Midrash Halacha. That's the truth. But, from what I recall, but it's a good question. Why is it attributed to Ullah? If it's such an ancient lesson from Moshe, is there not another way to, bring it? That's a she'ela. I acknowledge the question, and you left me with some material to think about.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So with your permission, I'm going to post this on the on our site.
Of course.
All the best.